In this video, we're going to talk about grading setups. Now, this is one of the most important videos in this module. Once we have setups that we have validated and we have some stats on, the next thing we want to do is grade those setups. So the benefits of grading setups, because we want to, number one, find the greatest edge. That's always our goal. Being a trader is becoming skilled at identifying the best setups for the current context, current market context. That's a skill in itself, and that's the skill that a trader has to have, right? So grading our setups is important because the setups, once we give them a grade after validating them and through back testing and through live data, we're going to talk about both. Okay. So we're going to talk about back tested setups, right? Setups that we did what we just did, where I said, hey, go find all of the 4-hour supply in the decline phase, right? If you go look at those and you come out and you say, I can reliably trade these with a 75% win rate and 1 to 3 R&R, right? Once we go and find that out, the next thing we want to do in order to quickly simplify the amount of decisions that we need to make, right? We need to put a grade on that setup. So that way, when we see the setup, we don't have to think about how much we're going to risk. Some people call it the risk note card. Some people use the risk table like I have. You don't have to use that risk table with all the equity on it. You could literally just have a card that has A, B, C, or A plus A, B, C. And that card will help you make decisions. So we're going to talk about how you can back test setups to find out the grade. And then also through live trading and tagging, I'll show you how I tag my setups in FTMO. And when you tag the setups in FTMO, you can export the data. You can actually search your trading dashboard. You can search it and look at the setups and see how much, like which setups contributed to you passing the challenge, the verification, the funded account, right? And getting profit splits. So we'll look at both of these. So let's just go back. Okay, so let's talk about why we want to grade the setups a little bit more. So we said we want to find the setup that has the greatest edge, because edge is what gives us an advantage in the market. Okay, we trade edge through losses, wins and losses. We come out in profit. All right. And then secondly, the grade of the setup will give us more confidence while we trading live. Okay. So A plus, we know, I'm going back to this example. I like to use these themes, right? So we have A plus. LeBron represents the A plus in basketball, right? His height, the amount of years that he's been playing, his experience, right? So LeBron is about 6'8", 6'9", right? And he spends about $1 million on his body every year. So he has a huge advantage, right, over me in basketball, right? And Kanye West, right? So A plus is LeBron, C is me, or maybe even a D, and Kanye West is unknown. So if I enter into the market and I have LeBron on my team, my confidence is going to be high. I will invest a lot more money. I will risk a lot more money on LeBron. When he got drafted, he had all of these huge endorsements, right? Now, if I was entering into the league, then it would be trouble. The NBA league, it would be trouble. I wouldn't have endorsements. Nobody would want to invest in me because I'm a C setup, right? And then as I mentioned before, Kanye West representing the unknown, okay? The unknown setups. So here we need to know who's the A plus, who's the C, who's the B, who's the D, who's the unknown, so that we can trade the A plus with confidence. We can trade the C only when we are consciously wanting to trade the C. We say, okay, maybe there's a high possibility that the C, I'll reduce a small amount of money. I'll add a little bit to this setup because maybe the market has been choppy for the whole entire month, but the risk to reward may be high, right? You can make these conscious decisions instead of just, trading whatever is there, right? And then the Kanye Wests, these setups where you don't know what the grade is, you can stay away from these until you back test them, okay? So another thing that we want to think about is that setups have different grades in different contexts. So we're in engineering space. If we sit down with computers, I have an edge on LeBron. LeBron has been playing basketball for the last 20 years. I've been an engineer for the last 12 years. If we were at a hackathon, I have an edge on LeBron. Okay. So different setups you have to know have different edge. You don't trade the uptrend break and retest like an uptrend break and retest if you're in a range. It won't work. Okay. So that's something else for us to think about. So now let's talk about over trading. Many people, they talk about over trading, this buzzword of over trading. In reality, they're saying that they're taking C setups and the unknown setups. If they were taking A plus setups and taking wins, they would have no complaints. They wouldn't even talk about over trading. But what it's called, over trading is normally code word for taking C setups and unknown setups. So the grading the setups is important as well because it will help prevent you from over trading. I'm gonna give you advice right now. I would recommend that everyone eliminate the C setups. Go ahead and eliminate those. Okay. Go ahead and eliminate them and give that risk to the A setup. Okay. So now the types of grades. So now we're gonna go ahead and start talking about how to grade setups. So we're gonna come back to this is where we were writing our playbook. Okay. You want to document this down in your own documents. That's why I'm writing it out. Okay. As a guide, you can follow along. Okay. All right. So there are many different ways we could grade the setups, and I'm just letting you know so that if you're in a trading space, you'll know that people grade setups in different ways if they even know about it. A lot of traders don't even know or understand the concept of grading. But there's two grades. So there's a back tested grade, right? You just back tested it and you come up with a grade. And for most of you, that's going to be the first step, and that's a great step. It's a great step. And then there's a live grade. That's how well the setup is actually performing live from your trading account. So I'm going to show you that as well. So the first step is normally the back tested step, right? Where you go and back test and gather data. Then the second step would be to tag your live trades. I'm going to show you how you can do it in FTMO. You can do it in most software. I'm going to show you how you can do it in FTMO. But you tag your live trades and then you tag them with the name. So we say downtrend or daily decline 4-hour supply. Okay, so we go and tag all of the setups with the proper name from the playbook. And then once you can search and pull that data, you can do it in an Excel spreadsheet. You know, this may be a little bit beyond some of you right now, but if you want me to do this in detail, I'll show you how you can pull your data and form what is called a pivot table. And in the pivot table, it'll do calculations for you. Like it'll sum up, it'll do summaries, it'll do estimates, it'll do ratios, etc. And you can see a view of how much over the year, the entire year, or an entire month, or an entire quarter, or a week, the 4-hour supply, how much did that contribute to your P&L for the year? So you say for the year, I have X amount of 4-hour supply setups, and that contributed to $50K for the year. I had X amount of the C setups, and that contributed to negative $5K for the year, right? So this is the kind of level of detail we want to have. I'll show you a little bit of it, but if you want me to do another video pertaining to that, drop me a comment. Let me know. All right. So now there are many ways to grade the setup. You can use EV, the expected value, that formula, right? You can use win rate. You can use R&R. The easiest way for me right now, the way that I suggest that you start off right now is just doing it based off of the win rate, okay, with a fixed R&R for now, till you have more setups, okay? So what does that look like? So that looks like we have A, let's say A plus B, C, and D. Let's say the A is 90%. We find out that it's 90%, okay? The A plus is 90%. Say A is 70%. Let's say B is 50%. And let's say C is 25% win rate. And D, don't even think about it, okay? Now, I'm going to recommend to you that you stay away from these. You don't even need these. You can potentially trade this because this will still, if you have a 1 to 3, you can still be profitable, right? With a B setup. The A setup and A plus, this is how I would grade. So you would go through, you would back test your stats. Okay, let's talk about back testing. You back test the setups and you come out with stats. Okay, remember we're building this sheet here. Okay, and you come up with you form a record. So we're gonna say the 4 hour. So we're gonna say daily. Let's get the record. Daily decline, 4 hour. What's the win rate? The average win rate. If we look at the data, let's say we did 30 scenarios. Okay. All right. And then let's say we did we won 25. So let's say we won 25 out of 30. So 25 out of 30 is roughly 83%. Okay, good. What does 83% mean? Out of 10, you win roughly about 8. That's a great win rate, right? So we could say, okay, this is an A setup. This is an A setup here. So we'll assign the grade in our playbook. We'll assign the grade here. Okay, A setup. All right, we're gonna have a fixed R&R right now. So our R&R is gonna be around 1 to 3. That's how we're doing it. Okay, so that's one setup. So you'll go through and grade those setups. So that's how it will go. You go through, you take a sample size, 20 to 30, okay, of these setups. And you go and look at the scenarios and see what I want to tell you is that think about this for a minute. This may seem like a lot, but if 95% of the population that attempt to do something are failing, it's known amongst prop firms that around 95% of people fail the challenges. It's known in the trading world, about 95% of people fail. Okay, that means that it takes more than people are expecting. So if this seems like a lot, trust me, it's a lot more than I expected. And this is not even some of the level of detail that you find in the highest professional prop firms. So this may seem like a lot, but this is a profession. This is a career. Think about your job. Think about if you're doing nursing or engineering, or if you're in the medical field, how much you had to learn in college or how much you have to study in order to become a professional. It's the same here. It's a lot to learn. It's very rewarding. It takes system. It takes process. But you can do this. You can do this. This is not beyond what you can comprehend and what you can do. Okay. So you're going to take each of your setups. That's why I recommend you just take one at a time. Start off slow. Just take one setup at a time. Take that one setup. If it turns out to have a high enough win rate, just take that one first and start to master that one. Start to use everything that we're going to talk about in this performance in phase 2 on that one setup. Okay. So that you don't overwhelm yourself. So now once you have the grade, then you can put together your risk card, okay, or your risk note card, okay. And what that will look like is A plus will get risk, okay. A will get a risk, B risk, C risk, okay. D, don't even think about it. So I'm going to advise you that you try to start off like this. 1% since you're doing funded challenges. 1% here, you can start off at, I risk higher in my funded challenges because of my experience. Here, 0.5%. If you decide to do a C, 0.25%. Okay. Start off with something like this. Unless you've been trading longer, you can do something different. The pro traders will actually take their A plus, those that have really high win rate, and they're a little bit more rare, but they'll take those A plus. It's almost 100%, right? Like 95% win rate, right? They'll take these and they'll give double, triple, 5 times the risk to these particular types of setups. But I wouldn't advise you do that right now. I would advise you to start off however you feel comfortable. But this is a good starting place. You can even go lower if you like in the free trial. But I think that this is a decent amount to risk per trade, per graded trade in the free trial and in the FTMO challenge. So now, where do we go next? There's a deeper level, and the deeper level exists with the live trading. Okay. So here I have one of these challenges where I was tagging, go daily decline, 4-hour supply. Okay. So if you look this up, this daily decline, 4-hour supply, this setup, okay, alone awarded me over $7,000. Okay. This is $7,700, right? So seeing that setup, okay, and being able to tag it is very important because I back tested it, but now my data, if I can pull that data, the data in the live trading or in, in the challenge trading or verification trading or the funded trading, or if your personal account, that data becomes validated, right? And this helps you take your trading to another level when you can validate that these actual setups that you're tagging, okay, actually have edge and they actually produce profits. So this one, 1800 right here, right? So here, if you click on this button over here, you can add graphs here. I store my graphs differently. You can record the strategy here, your entry strategy, your exit strategy. You can write comments. But here I just add a tag since I have everything in my playbook. So I add a tag, daily markup, 4-hour demand, right? So this gives us an idea of how our setups are performing, right? So we had almost like a total of or almost 10K right here from different actual setups from the playbook, right? And these setups have proven profits, okay? So it's levels to this, right? So first off, number one, you'll have to back test your setups and give them grades. And then number two, once you start live trading, you can tag the setups to look and see what's going on in the live. You may notice also that it may not be the actual setup itself that's giving you an issue. It could be you. You may learn that, like I learned, that I trade sells better than buys. So I had to spend time back testing the buy, getting repetitions with the buy, training my mind with the buy so that I could increase my profits when the market was rallying. So this is very, very important. Please watch this a few times if you need. Let me know what you'd like me to go into deeper. I didn't want to prolong this video too much. See you in the next video. Leave your comments and questions in the section below.